Well, hello everyone. Hope you're doing well today. It is Wednesday, March 13th, and we are back for episode what is this 14 of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. My name is Raphael Garcia, and I thank you for taking the time to check out our content as usual. Whether you are listening to the show live or checking us out days in after I've actually done the show. But as always, please take a minute to like and share our content. You can catch us here on MMA Ratings on our YouTube channel. You can follow MMA Ratings Net on Instagram and Twitter. You can check us out there. And as always, you can follow me at rgarcia_sports, where I am usually doing a lot of ranting about professional wrestling, MMA, basketball, and everything else that is going on in the personal life. But today, I wanted to take some time to talk about Kofi Kingston and the New Day. As you guys know, I try to avoid doing like the quintessential recap shows, which is basically what everyone across the internet is doing, and there's some great ones out there that I love. I wanted to kind of do something different with this podcast, so I'm going to look at the topic of various topics week to week. And this week, I wanted to talk about Kingston and talk about what's going on with the New Day and how that group can be potentially broken up, or what could happen with them in the near future. So as always, thank you again for your time, and I look forward to any type of feedback that you have. And as always, be sure to send it our way. So let's go ahead and kind of jump into the conversation about the New Day and what's going on with Kofi Kingston. What's in his near future? I'm going to go back to Sunday first, where we saw the continuing storyline about Kofi trying and the Kofi Mania hashtag that is definitely building. On Sunday, he was, well, even before Sunday, he was taken out of the WWE Championship match and replaced with Kevin Owens. And on Sunday's pay-per-view at Fastlane, it seemed like we were teased with the idea that he would be getting put back into that match. You saw the backstage segment where he and his New Day members and Xavier Woods and Big E were approached, and Kofi Kingston was basically told to go talk to the McMahons. Later on that evening, you will see that he had been waiting outside of the door for Vince for hours. They go into the room. Basically, there's a conversation ensues, and Vince tells the New Day that the WWE Championship match will be a triple threat. Kingston goes out to the ring, but that finds out he was not being involved in that match, as the Bar would come out and it would be a 2-on-1 handicap match where Kingston is basically squashed. Now, there's a lot of back and forth about this here situation, because it seems as if it definitely stood out to me the way that they had him squashed. He got his ass beat by the Bar and was pinned unceremoniously. For some reason, as I was watching it, I was like, there's no way they're going to job him out like this. There's going to be something's going to happen, and he's going to steal a victory or get a win last minute. But that did not occur. Instead, he was pinned 1, 2, 3. Even Woods and Big E try to come down and save him, but they get attacked by Rusev and Nakamura, and they get disposed of. So it was really like anticlimactic, for lack of a better term. The crowd in attendance were vehemently booing the situation, basically calling it flat out boring. And we were all well aware that this was not going over well. But the situation got even more odd later on in the evening, where the WWE Championship was a three-way, but Mustafa Ali was added to the match last minute, and he's coming back from that concussion that actually knocked him out of the Elimination Chamber and put Kingston in this situation. And if you watched that match, you saw that, or you heard more of the fact that the fans were almost turning against Mustafa at the very start. But a testament to what these three guys were able to do, they put on such a great match that fans eventually turned around and started cheering the action that was going on in the ring, which is exactly what should have been happening from the start. What's sad is that I don't think that situation helped I don't think that situation helped Mustafa at all. And I don't know if if that situation helped Kingston at all either. Yes, people were chanting his name, basically shooting on the championship title match, but it almost feels unfair to the three men who were in the match for that to happen. And it seems lazy that this is the only way that creative continually thinks that they can get over a babyface. And Kofi doesn't need to be booked like a weak babyface who can't get the job done on his own. But we watched that go down on Saturday, and it's interesting because it did create a sense of wondering what's going to happen next, and looking at SmackDown the following Tuesday and wondering, well, what are they going to do with this storyline? How are they going to continue to further this? And now we saw, obviously, Daniel Bryan walked out of Fastlane with the title at the great match with Ali. He walks out the title, or he walks out of SmackDown with he walks out of Fastlane with the title into SmackDown. And on SmackDown, the New Day and Vince McMahon are in one of the main event segments, and they are having a passionate promo back and forth. And man, this almost felt, it's one of those promos where it felt real. You have Kingston talking about as much as he's dedicated to this craft. You have Biggie and Woods who are more indignant or angry about the whole situation. And they're pushing the idea that Kofi should be in this match more than even Kofi's pushing for himself, which is going to segue into how I think that they're going to eventually break this group up. But the end of the conversation comes with Kingston basically letting Vince know, hey, this is like, I'm the guy that's been here the whole time. I'm the guy that has been dedicated to this craft, dedicated to this promotion. And what he gets out of that is that he's now booked in a match for next week, the 19th of March. That SmackDown, he will be booked in a gauntlet match where he will have to defeat 5 men in order to claim the championship title match at Mania. Those 5 men are The Bar, Cesaro, Sheamus, Daniel Bryan's right-hand man, Eric Rowan, the United States champion, Samoa Joe, and Randy Orton. And looking at those names, I think that they're the right names for this call, because they can be, there's ways to book around this situation to get the win for Kingston. My early prediction is that there's going to be a lot of chicanery in this match. I think that Orton is going to have his moment spoiled by AJ Styles. You may see some New Day shenanigans in here as well. You may see Mustafa Ali sighting to deal with Joe. So I think there's going to be a lot of shenanigans in this situation to get us through to the idea that Kingston can defeat 5 men in one night. We saw the great matches he put on during the gauntlet match last month, and it's interesting to see if he can recapture that fire. I believe he can, but he's dealing with some different workers in this situation here. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they book this match. But the question is, am I confident that they'll book the match in a way that allows Kingston to win? I don't think so. I'm going to be 110% frank here. I would not be surprised if they book this match in a way that Kingston I'm just gonna go ahead and put that out there. I would not be surprised if they book this match in a way that he loses. We still have, let's see how many weeks we have. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 more SmackDowns until the WrestleMania 35, which is on the 7th of April. And that's 3 more, including what occurs on the 19th. So in reality, after the 19th show, you only have 2 more. So it'll be interesting to see if they find a way to book themselves into that match with Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston. I hope it's a one-on-one match, but again, we never know how that will really go down. And there's a lot to really unpack there. So the question of will he win this match? I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I would not be surprised if they found a way to force him out of it. I won't be surprised if something happens and he does not win on the 19th. I think it would suck wholeheartedly, but here and now, I hope that situation does not end that way. I hope that situation ends positively. Again, as I've been talking about Kingston over the last month or so, I'm hoping that we do get that WrestleMania moment where he hoists that title above his head, because I believe he deserves it. I've written about this multiple times. 11 years of service. He's been a part of the organization for God knows how long. I think he deserves this moment, and we'll see how. We'll see how it really kind of breaks down, because we're really going to see how this moment breaks down, and if they do give him the torch, the proverbial torch, to run with, because there's a lot of different ways that this can go. And unfortunately, right now, I just don't have the confidence in WWE Creative. As I've talked about and written about multiple times, they do not give minority men proper booking on the main card. You can talk about The Rock all you want to, but for that one name, you can name 10 minority men who were not booked properly. Mark Henry should have got he should have got a legit run. Booker T, Bobby Lashley, all the way back to Ahmed Johnson. You got Ron Simmons. You have the way Apollo Crews has been booked. Titus O'Neil as jokes. You have Big E. He should have been had his run at this point in time. Rusev. So many different guys who don't fit that caricature or don't fit that look and feel that WWE likes to promote, are often overlooked. And Kingston is one of those guys. I mean, he botched a moment back in 2009, 10 years ago, and has never been able to get back to that singles position. He's been a tag team specialist for the last 5 years. He's been a tag team specialist, and he was a tag team specialist before that. But his run with the New Day is probably what he's going to be most recognized for. But even still, looking back at his career before that, he's one title victory away from becoming a Grand Slam champion, and this is that title. I think this has to be the opportunity for them to seize it and give him what he's deserved. He's over with the fans. I mean, the New Day has been over almost since they kind of rebranded themselves. So this is an opportunity for them to not only reward him for all of his hard work, but I think we'll make a statement to a lot of the guys in the back, guys and girls in the back, and help build Kingston as someone who can be considered not a main event player. I don't expect him to be like the AJ Styles carrying his title for a year and a half or whatever that was. But a good 1 to 2 month run, I would be okay with that. That would be like Charlotte's Web. That'll do, pig. That'll do. That's all we really need from this moment. It doesn't need to be some massive run like a Pete Dunne or something like that, like we're experiencing right now. But I am on the fence as to whether or not they are going to give Kingston this run. I'm still leaning towards the idea that they won't. I'm hoping that they will prove me wrong, but it's just I don't have anything to kind of stand on. I don't have anything to stand on. I don't have anything to really kind of put my faith in the WWE when it comes to managing this situation. With that in mind, I want to talk about how this moment can lead to a breakup of the New Day. And I wrote about this back in last year, and I put together an idea where there are a number of different ways that this can be done. The breakup of the new. So let me take a step back. I do not think that the WWE should break up the New Day. I do not believe that they should break them up. They should be allowed. They should be a part of a group that is doing their own thing. Think of, let me see, kind of like the Shield. The Shield aren't really broken up. Yes, they fought. They've had matches against each other, and that you saw them kind of do their farewell tour on Monday. But those guys were always kind of involved with each other's storylines. There was always something that can be called, that could be harkened back to. The New Day should be in the same fold. Looking at this group here, all three of them are not main event players. I think out of the three, Big E is probably seen in the best light, followed by Kingston and Woods. And breaking that group up completely would marginalize Kingston and Woods. I think eventually marginalize E. But I believe that there's a way that it could be done correctly. Now, I personally think watching this storyline develop, if they do put the title on Kingston, I see them breaking up the New Day by having Xavier Woods and Big E turn on Kofi. Because what you see is if you're watching all the segments, watching all of the narratives on social media and everything, Big E and Woods are much more angry about this matter. They're the ones being more flipped, talking to the McMahon family, talking about everything going on. They're much, much, much more angry about how Kingston is being treated in this matter, kayfabe or not. And I believe that what will happen is that Kingston will win the title, and then Big E and Xavier Woods will turn on him because they got him to this position. Hopefully, it comes a month later, 2 months later. It's not right out the gate. What I foresee happening is that the idea is that Kofi winning the title will allow them all to defend it in their quote unquote Freebird rules. But Kingston's going to be like, no, this is my title. I'm going to defend it on my own, which is going to lead to this group falling apart because we've seen them talk about the Freebird rules when it comes to being a ladder matches, et cetera, et cetera. And it was looked at as a joking matter, but now that it's really upon us, and the idea that Kingston would want the belt for himself, I think that's going to be what's used to set the tone for splitting this group up. Do I agree? No, I think there's ways that it can be done differently, but I think that that's the way that they're going to go with this group being broken up. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, if let's say Kingston wins on April 7th, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened on April 8th. Because I don't even really see creative being able to book Kingston against any challengers. I mean, you have Orton, you have Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe has a title. What other solid heels do they have at this time right now that can be considered a threat to Kingston as a champion to last for a month or more time than that? I just don't see that happening. And what I do see happening, though, is them splitting this group up and leading to something else. Because what I do see happening is this group being split up with Woods becoming Big E's mouthpiece and Big E being the main contender. Because, as I mentioned, he's always been the one that's been looked at as a main event prospect, as a main event player. And at first, I didn't really agree with that. Back when he was paired with CM Punk, paired with AJ Lee, I didn't think that was the way to go. But being in a New Day, he's gotten over. I mean, he's gotten over big time. And the dude can put on a hell of a match. He can go. I do believe, and he's huge. He's a big, muscular guy, but he can move in the ring. He can sell. He can cut promos. I mean, he has everything. He hits all of the check marks of someone who can be a WWE champion. And I think that this is the way that they get him there. And it will be interesting because from a backstage standpoint, I could see Kofi being okay, and I'm doing that in air quotes, okay with being the catalyst that got Big E to a WWE championship run, that got Xavier Woods back into the main event picture. Not saying he hasn't been there before, because I knew they have kind of been in the main event picture before in the past. But I think that Big E has something to gain the most from Kofi becoming the champion, because that's the path that I see them taking to getting the title on him at some time in the future. I personally believe Big E is a main event player. He could be on Raw facing off against Lesnar. He can be in big matches with Seth Rollins, big matches with Roman Reigns, big matches with Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt, etc., etc. But he just hasn't been put in that situation yet. He hasn't been put in that situation by himself. Yeah, I think he's a Intercontinental and a U.S. champion, but I mean, this. Let me check. I think he is. I think he has held both belts. Let me confirm real quick. He's an NXT champion. Let me see. He's an Intercontinental champion. I thought he was a U.S. champion too. Didn't he drop that belt to Rusev? No, he was okay. So he was the Intercontinental champion. So, and I always forget that he was the NXT champion as well too. But I do think that this is a way for him to get put into the situation where he can become a WWE champion. Do I think it has to go down that way? No. Like I said, they could be kept in a loosely formed stable that supports each other from time to time without breaking them up and without turning one of them full-time, full-fledged heels. But I think that that's going to be the route that they go probably right after WrestleMania on the 8th. And I mean, I think fans are going to be pissed off about it. But like I said, I think that is the route that they are going. Do I want to see that? No. I think, do I think the ends justify the means? Potentially. I'm nodding my head right now thinking about that, and I do potentially think that that's going that the ends do justify the means in getting the belt on Kingston, and then maybe keeping the belt within the New Day for a feud for the immediate future. But then again, we can all only hope this can all come crashing down next week at SmackDown, and let's say something happens and Vince and creative doesn't feel like he's over anymore. Like we've seen, I mean, they fucked up the Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Ronda storyline. I mean, it's still intriguing, but it's not nearly as intriguing as it should be. And there's still talks about there's no idea what's going to be the main event at Mania. So there's still room. You can think that they don't mess things up, but there's still room for that to happen. But again, I'm here knocking on wood, hoping for the best with Kofi Kingston and what comes out of WrestleMania 35. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and close out this show. As always, I ask for you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, where you will see all of our content. We talk mainly mixed martial arts, but again, my pro wrestling content is kind of picking up over there this weekly show, and I'm pretty proud of what we've been doing so far, so I do want to continue building on that. So thank you for listening to the show today. Hit me with a like for today. Share this video when you have the opportunity. And thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your hump day and get through and have a great week. We will not be doing a show next week. I will be out on vacation with my girlfriend at the time, so I will not be able to do a show. Maybe, potentially. There might be there's a chance. So like we'll see. But right now I'm going to say no. But with that in mind, let's go ahead and close out, and everyone have a great day.